Only big cities. So Edinburgh, okay, yeah, Glasgow, okay, and Inverness and Aberdeen, big city, okay, but small castle or Loch Ness, for example, you can't take a train. So there are some tour bus that go,
Or
um,
hitchhike.
or
Hitchhike.
or cycle, mamachari. But you can also rent a car for much cheaper than Japan. So it's very cheap to rent a car, £25 a day. So about go sen for one day, so it's pretty cheap. But the cost of trains or buses is very expensive. It's really expensive because the train company is now private, thanks to England, thanks to England's government. But the train company became private, so they can charge more money. So it's very expensive to go by public transport.
Gasoline is cheap.
About the same as Japan.
Also,
About the same as Japan.
And the local people also pay that much money.
Yeah, yeah, you don't get discounts. It's the same price. But for us, it's normal. So when we go to Europe, mainland Europe, we always think it's so cheap. It's like, wow, train is so cheap. It's great. But when we come back to the UK, it's expensive. But it's normal. Yeah, it's normal for us.
do you have any question for me? When do you go to Scotland?
Yeah. When are you going? When are you going to Scotland with me?
Next year?
Okay, let's go in summer.
Summer is better?
Yeah, well, the temperature in Scotland is pretty low. So in winter, it's not too bad. It's about the same as Japan in the day, but at night, it can be minus 20, sometimes. But in summer, the highest temperature is about 28 degrees. So it's not too hot. It's good. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know now. Maybe it's not so hot now. Maybe about 15. Glasgow weather. Yeah. Well, now it's early in 1 p.m. 12 degrees.
1 p.m.
But as you can see, it changes very quickly. So sunny, rainy, sunny, rainy. It's always changing. Wow, that's cold. That's unusual. Usually it's about 20 degrees now. Usually. That's very unusual.
And you said Northern Ireland became UK, United Kingdom.
Yeah, yeah.
Still the South. It's just called Ireland, or
Yeah,
it's
well,
independent country.
So actually, get the map again. So Northern Ireland, right?
Yes.
So yeah. Officially, Ireland is just the island's name. So there's Ireland. Ireland is the island, and then there's two countries: Northern Ireland, here, and officially this is the Republic of Ireland. Officially, but most people living in Ireland think that they should have this should be their country. They don't believe in Northern Ireland. They don't agree with Northern Ireland. Most people, not all of them, but because of that, they say I'm from Ireland because they still believe the whole country is their country. So again, Irish people and Scottish people have very similar cultures because of their history, and one part of our history was fighting with England. So because of that, very often when Scotland had a battle with England, Irish warriors would come to Scotland and join us because they hated England. So also we fought with the French. Not we fought together with the French. So in the 1400s maybe, I can't remember. And the French had a battle with Scotland with England, and Scottish army would join France, and we'd fight against.
Everyone hates them in Europe.
Yeah, they're the worst. But now we love them.
When people say I'm from Ireland, and which means north of Ireland?
Usually it means south.
Oh.
So Northern Ireland started because the English invaded. The English people invaded Ireland. They invaded Ireland, and eventually they agreed that they'd only keep the north. So they wanted all of Ireland, but eventually the Irish people decided they wanted to keep part of the UK. They wanted to stay as part of the UK. However, the rest of Ireland wanted to become independent again. They wanted to return to original Ireland. So most of the people living here, they still believe that Ireland is all of the island is their country, so they say, I'm from Ireland, which means Republic of Ireland.
So the border isn't still Hadrian's Wall, right? Is it
No,
different now?
it's a little different. So the wall was actually built from just south of the border, so it was built from here and it went almost straight across. So they tried to keep the wall as short as possible. So after that was the very first time there was ever a border between the two countries, was Hadrian's Wall. But after the Scottish and English battles, they changed the border a little. So when Scotland was granted independence for the first time, we got independence was in the 1300s, and back then Scotland was Catholic, which later the English took away. But it was a Catholic country, and we sent a letter to the Pope John the 23rd or something, and we declared our independence as a country. And England also recognised that Scotland was independent at that time, and that's when we drew up the border back then. So it changed a little bit. But even now, so for the independence argument, there's a lot of oil in the sea, and for the independence argument, England tried to say that the border went up here, so the oil was theirs. Of course, it's not true, but they tried to argue that the oil was actually English oil, because they're ridiculous. Yeah. But like I say, like the English government now is very capitalist and it's all about profit, making money, whereas the Scottish government now is more about sharing the money with poor people. So it's very different governments in the countries, but London still have all the power over Scotland, really. So I was very surprised that people said no for the independence vote. I was really surprised, disappointed.
It's like a future of Japan. China goes to everywhere, and then they're saying, "Oh, it's our land."
Right.
Taking over Japanese land also.
Well,
We're gonna be united to China in future. Maybe. I'm not so sure.
well, some people. So during the independence vote, sorry, this isn't very nice, but people in Okinawa were following it because they felt like Scotland was like Okinawa because Japan was so bad to Okinawa in the past, and even with tax as well, they were bad with the tax, and during the war, there was a lot of bad things happened from mainland Japan. So people in Okinawa were watching the news about Scotland's independence because they were wondering about independence from Japan. It wouldn't work, but I found that very interesting.
I felt the same way. Okinawa might want to become an independent country again.
But then maybe they don't have any economy, maybe tourism.
But they're saying after the U.S. Army moved, they can put the hotels and then lots of tourists.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and that they can survive. Yes.
Is the U.S. Army going to move? Do you think?
Well, I'm not so sure.
The the Okinawans want them to leave and the Japanese don't. So
Yeah. But I wonder if the bases were on mainland Japan. I wonder how
Yeah.
Japan would think about it then. Maybe the opinion would change. I wonder.
The U.S. that don't want to move, that's for sure. we got kicked out of the Philippines. Now that's our only place. We
Yeah.
have to have a base everywhere. So.
Yeah. In fact, during the early 1990s, there was a submarine base, a navy base, in Scotland, and it was very controversial at the time because it was the American base, and they had lots of nuclear submarines there, and of course Scotland, even since then, didn't agree with nuclear weapons or nuclear power. So all the Scottish people wanted the American base out, but London wanted to keep them. So it was kind of similar again with. Yeah.
Why nuclear power?
Why?
Why not?
Why not? People just don't want it. I don't know. I think I don't mind nuclear power. I think it's safe and I think it's clean.
Yeah.
But
France uses pretty much all nuclear power now, right?
No.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with it personally, but the government now wants to be 100% green in the future. So now they're meeting their targets. They're actually, I think by 2020 they want to be 100% green, and they're meeting their targets. So it looks good.
That nuclear power was green.
Yeah, but the waste, like how do you dispose of the waste? That's the problem. Yeah. But actually, I think also that's a good point because when Chernobyl happened in Russia and Ukraine, like the majority of the fallout actually dropped on the UK and in Scotland in particular. So there was a lot of nuclear waste from Chernobyl came to Scotland, and I think that influenced a lot of people's opinions about nuclear power.
Did that have any substantial effect on anything?
Yeah, a lot of people started to lose their hair.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. But no, there's nothing so far. There wasn't like lots of thyroid cancer or anything like that. So, but people were just scared about it.
Inflation, young
Oh, no problem. Don't worry.
日本でもいいんだって。俺スコットランドの時とかに来たことない。
I keep on forgetting about the kilt. So, the national dress. God, I spoke too much about the history. So, our kilts. Our kilts. So this is the national dress. It's like the kimono, but traditionally, underneath your kilt, you don't wear any pants. There's no pants. It's a kind of rule. It's like a skirt, but we call it kilt, kiruto, kilt. And underneath, there's no pants. So if it's windy or if there's a typhoon, you need to be really careful. So if you wear pants and somebody sees you've got pants, then they think you're English. They say you're not from Scotland, you're from England because you wear pants. So during parties, my school prom at my high school, we had a end of year party, and I had my kilt on, and we were drinking. Then at the end of the night, many girls. Are you from Scotland? Yeah, I'm from Scotland. Oh yeah, he's from Scotland. He's from Scotland. No pants. So people sometimes check. Sometimes. Yeah, it's really dangerous. So it's kind of unusual that bikes were invented in Scotland because if you're cycling your bike, it's really dangerous. Why did we make them? So the pedal bike was invented after the car. I thought that was crazy. Crazy fact.
After the car, really?
Yeah. So I think the car was invented in America in the end of the 19th century. I don't know.
Yeah.
Engine-powered automobiles. Was it? I don't know, but and then the pedal bike was invented in the early 1900s, like 1914, 1915.
Yeah, like
So the pedal-powered bike.
definitely like the bike was more prevalent before the car was able to be used by everyone,
Right,
but
yeah.
the car wasn't at first.
But yeah, I was really surprised to learn that.
Yeah. Seems like it could have been invented 300 years before.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah,
Mm.
definitely. They had like wheels, so they just sit on it and push
Yeah.
and push themselves, but they didn't have the pedal power. Any other questions? Anything's okay.
I saw a movie and there was a wedding in Seoul
Mm.
and the groom had to fight with other guys before the wedding
Right.
to get married. Is it
Right.
true?
No,
Your
I'm
ex-boyfriend or what?
I'm very glad that it's not true because I would never get married.
The groom was playing the sport you showed earlier.
Oh,
Like heavy stone.
was it a Disney movie?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Because I know in the old times.